So we haven't posted a quarantine vlog in, I think, 6 weeks, but I have my guest here again. Ricardo is back.
Hello.
And when we talked last time, he was on week 3 of the program and he just finished week 9. So he only has one more week left and he's doing fantastic. So I wanted to have him on so he could give us an update and just tell us a little bit more about how the program's going. Okay, so before we talk about how his training's going, let's just talk about how quarantine is going because we are still very much in quarantine. Our state has started to open up and simultaneously seen a lot of spikes in the COVID cases. So we have still very much stayed to ourselves. We are not going out doing things. We are avoiding public places, wearing our masks, all that stuff. How's quarantine been going for you?
Yeah, no, good. I feel like, the change in pace, like this is the busiest time of year for me at work, and I still feel the same stress, but not having to commute, not having to get in a suit every meeting, doing it all from home has certainly made it a little easier to kind of cope with all the regular stressors of life. And then Jay and I have been having a good time together. So no complaints on that side. And the running has been helping out, making sure I'm kind of losing a little bit of weight. So it's been fun. I think for me, it's still just kind of interesting seeing like all that stuff happening with people not wanting to wear masks and stuff. I don't personally get it, but that's neither here nor there. We don't run with masks, but I think part of that is, we're outdoors. From our perspective, from mine, I think we're still being really safe, making sure we're not next to people that we don't know, and we're staying healthy. So that's a plus.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into how things have been going because you've made a lot of progress. I think week 3 we ended with you running a 2-minute run. And what did you just do your run today?
Today, so this is we just finished week 9, right? And so week 9, 14 minutes on, 1 minute walk, followed by 14 minutes, another 1 minute. So 14 continuous minutes of running 2 times. It was challenging, but I think, like I said on the last one, the way the program is building is really kind of steady. And I've been prepared for each longer run every single time we've gone out there. And some days have been a little harder than others, but at the end of the day, I've been able to complete them. I'll go back to what I said on the last one. Still no knee pain, which is pretty awesome. I'm starting to kind of really actually enjoy the running and look forward to the running. So, that's progress.
So let's talk though, because you did have a setback in there.
I did.
I think it was maybe week 5. And tell us a little bit more about what happened.
I don't know if you want me to go into too much detail, but we were shooting some photos the day before a scheduled run, and I got on the floor. I was at different angles, and then I got up from that, and my back was aching, and then progressively just got worse throughout the day. And then the next day for the run, I just didn't feel like I could go on the run. I felt like it was going to get worse. Mm-hmm. And so, with your advice, with your permission, we moved it not only one day, we moved it 2 days back. And over the course of those 2 days, I continued the stretches that I generally do when I get into that situation, because I've had a bad back for a long time. By that next scheduled date, we were halfway through the week. I hadn't run, but I felt prepared to run. That run went well. We skipped another day, ran the next one. Skipped another day and ran the next one. Finished that week, running all 3 runs that were originally scheduled for that week, just a little bit later. And then we were back on track. And, again, I'll go back to like the way you design the program with the flexibility notes. I obviously have your permission here in person, but like in the guide gives you the permission to kind of move that stuff. And I think, everybody that's following that guide should feel very comfortable listening to their bodies. And if they're not able to do the run, don't feel bad about it. Just kind of reschedule it, move it back, and then keep going. And so far, that was the only kind of hiccup but it wasn't huge. It was a couple days back, and we're back on schedule. And we're gonna finish the 10-week program in the 10 weeks originally intended. And by next Saturday, I should be able to run 30 minutes continuously without stopping. We'll see.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because if you have ever run, I really feel like this is probably most applicable to half marathons and marathons, but it's very much the same for somebody who hasn't run a distance before. So his final 2 runs before the 30-minute run will be a 15-minute run and a 1-minute walk. So he's essentially running 30 minutes within that time, but he has that break in between with a walk. And so I asked him how he felt about going into that. Did he feel confident? And it felt very much like how I felt before my first marathon. So tell us more about that.
Well, I think what I described to you was kind of like I know for a fact, like when you ran your first marathon, you'd never run 26.2 miles. Like you'd never run that. And I feel kind of going into Sunday that I have never run for 30, or at least in recent history, I have not run for 30 minutes straight. It's gonna be like my 26.2. I know I don't want to like diminish or pretend that it is that, but at the end of the day, it's my race day, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous. I'm sure like most people that are racing a longer distance for the first time. But I'm confident that the training has kind of prepped me for that. So we'll see how it goes.
So in the last video, we talked a little bit about his pacing, and that's also been something really cool I think that you've been really excited about, is seeing how your pace has improved. And you've been getting a lot of PRs on your run, so either longest run or a mile PR. But you've done a really great job of pacing yourself and kind of keeping your heart rate lower. And so thinking about your final run, how are you going to try and pace yourself for that?
That's a tough one, because 30 minutes continuously, it's basically going to double from any prior workout. So I think I'm going to take it slow. I'm not going to try to like race it. My fastest mile, according to my watch, was 9:56, something like that. I don't think I'm going to run anything like that. I think it'll probably be closer to like a 10:50, maybe 11-minute mile. In those 30 minutes, I'm hoping to do like 2.5 miles.
So progress-wise too, it's really cool because his mileage hasn't changed a lot from week to week. But the amount of time that he's been running has changed. So the first week that you ran, I think you ran for a total of 22 minutes. And this past week he ran for a total of 84 minutes, which is amazing. So if you are going to do the program, that's something to think about, because weekly mileage, I think you're averaging like 7 to 9 miles a week on the 3 runs. And but you have to focus on like the amount of time that you're running and how that's increasing slowly over time, and seeing that progress, I think, in your mile PRs and just also how good you're feeling after your runs is really cool. So I've loved seeing him do this. It's been really awesome. And I think the biggest question has been, what is he going to do next? Because even though gyms here have opened up, like we said in the beginning, we're still very much going to stay in quarantine because we just don't feel like it's safe to go back to the gyms yet. And we enjoy running outside without masks. So when you go to the gym here, you have to wear a mask. So that got me thinking about what to make for him next. And so we're going to focus on a base building guide, and I'm working on that now. So if you do the Intro to Running program and you're looking for something next, the base building guide will be out in a couple more weeks. And that's what we're going to start on the week after next once he's done. And that will also include strength and nutrition as well. So that is coming, and I think he's kind of scared but also excited about that. How are you feeling about that? Because it's gonna be a time-based program again, but no walk breaks, and it's going to have 4 days of running instead of 3. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm feeling probably like you would in a situation like I'm really just focused on Saturday. And then I don't really want to think about what's next. But thinking longer term, I'm really looking forward to it, because I do think like if I'm going to continue with this and I'm not going back to the gym for the foreseeable future, that I should try to get better at it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So if you are interested in the Intro to Running program, it has been out for a couple of weeks, and I will link it up in the description. And we wanted to really give back to the community during this time, so we've made it free through the end of the summer. So if you use the code NEWRUNNER through 8/31, you can download the program for free, and you guys can check it out. And then if you like it, you can move on to the base building guide after that. So I think that's it. So we'll check in next week. And if you guys want to follow along on Instagram, we're probably going to do his final run as an Instagram live. So we'll see for real how he's going to do. So definitely follow along there. And we'll get you back on next week afterwards to tell us how it goes. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.